Well, we've never done this with a returning guest, but what you're looking at right now is a bit of video we showed 2 summers ago when she first appeared on our show. What you're looking at is an author finding out her debut novel has become a bestseller. She joined us shortly after that in June of 2021. The reason we're showing you that is because she is back with us again to talk about her next novel, which has kept us awake for several nights, like her first novel, coming to us from Arizona. Welcoming back TJ Newman. TJ, welcome back to our city tonight.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on again. It's wonderful to be back with you, and I apologize for the sleepless nights.
That's a good thing.
Big time, and I was just sharing with you, I don't want to scare anyone off the book because it is absolutely fabulous, but me being claustrophobic, it's like you just feel like you're there. It was fantastic. It actually was fantastic. It's like being right in there. And your book from before, Falling, was about more terrorist, hostage taking, a plane possibly crashing. This one is all different. This is about a plane malfunctioning and what people do. It was absolutely the page turner that we thought it would be.
Thank you. That makes me so happy to hear that. And yeah, it is intense, like you said. It's the story of a rescue of a flight that crashes 6 minutes after takeoff into the ocean. And of course, the passengers immediately evacuate until an explosion forces them mid-evacuation to close the doors. But it's too late. The plane floods and sinks, with 12 people trapped inside, including a father and his 11-year-old daughter. Now, their only hope of survival lies with an elite rescue team on the surface led by her mother and his soon-to-be ex-wife. And as you said, like, you hear that, and that's intense, that's scary, that's going to keep you up at nights, but that's really just the setup. The true heart of the story is that it's a rescue story, it's a survival story, it's a story of a fractured family coming back together. It's about love and hope and resilience, and that is what this story really, really is about.
It's fascinating too because it's about people's decision making too, right from the minute the decision to vacate or stay in the plane. The ones that did obviously made the right choice, but who knows? That part was really interesting because you develop those characters, and we all know people. Every single one of us knows a person like one of the people that was on the plane. People you want to hit, people you want to just strangle, people you want to love and hold. Obviously there's tragedy and drama, but I'm not going to give away the ending.
No, you cannot do that, or TJ's people will be on us.
It is right to the end, though, right to the end. And yeah, darn you, that right to the end, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just saying to everyone, read it. It is amazing, right to the last page.
You recently did something we wanted to mention, TJ. You penned an open letter to Deadline.com, which I just found really wonderful, to read, but also for you to do, which was all about don't give up. I'm looking at a couple of quotes, which is, I didn't come this far just to go this far. And Deadline is a website where successful people, wealthy people, established people read, but also people that are trying to make it in life. Talk a bit about your thinking and the motivation behind that wonderfully written letter.
Thank you so much for that. And the response that I've received from that since it came out has been overwhelming. How many people have reached out and said, this is me. I too am facing and have faced nonstop rejection, and I'm trying to convince myself to keep going, and this really helped. My story is that I tried to be a Broadway actress and I failed at that. And, I did the whole mid-20s after I moved home from New York, living in, my parents' house in my childhood bedroom, wondering what I'm going to do with my life. And that's when I got a job at a bookstore and started dreaming again. I describe in the piece, how I used to take my thumb and cover up the first name of the books that had authors with my last name. And when I shelved them, I would cover it up and I would pretend that I was shelving my own book. And so I started to dream again at the bookstore, and then I started to write. And then when I became a flight attendant is where I had the idea for my first book, Falling. And I wrote it in the galley by hand at night while passengers slept on the red eye. And then once I had a book, it was, ready to go out, and I was submitting it to agents, and I was rejected 41 times. No one wanted the book. No one wanted me. And my 42nd agent submission was my one and only yes. And that failure, that struggle for so many years, for so long, was so hard. But I did it. And you said, I didn't come this far just to come this far. And that's what I kept repeating to myself every time I wanted to give up, which was all the time. All those rejections hurt. And I could easily not be with you today, talking about this, if I had given up. But I didn't, and I kept going. And now I've got 2 books. I've got 2 film deals. I'm living my dream come true. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anyone in publishing. I didn't know anybody in the film industry. I didn't have an in. I don't have, a family name. I don't have, family money. I don't have a resume. I didn't have a platform. All these things that they tell you have to have in order to make it, I didn't have. And so I wrote this letter to dreamers just to let them know, don't believe that. Don't let that be the only voice that you listen to, because I'm living proof that your dreams can come true. Yeah, it's hard. The odds are tough, but why not you? And I think people have really resonated with that message, and it's beautiful to see, and it's really motivated me, and I'm just so grateful for everything that has come because of that piece.
Yeah, it's a great letter. I would recommend people go to deadline.com. And you're right. You clearly say that, okay, I acknowledge I'm the exception, but you know what? Exceptions happen every day. And I want to just wrap that up, because Lita's got a couple of things she wants to ask you. But you have a great thing, speaking of dreams coming true, where you said there's something insane about the fact I hopelessly fell short of my Broadway ambitions, yet I just hired and approved 5-time Tony Award-winning nominee Laura Benatti to narrate my second book, or that my main route as a flight attendant was LAX to JFK, and last month I had a Zoom meeting with a producer I remember serving chicken to in first class. So you know of what you speak.
Yeah.
Just even hearing you recap, it's insane. I'm still trying to process this whole thing. It really, truly is a dream come true.
Well, perfect. And we're going to wrap up with letting our viewers know that you have sealed the deal on the film for the first movie that was done, and the second book too now.
Yes, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is going to be doing the second book, is going to be doing Drowning. And that was a whirlwind, insane week in and of itself. I was on Zoom calls with Nicole Kidman, and wow. It was mind-boggling how I went from just scribbling notes in a forward galley of an aircraft to being on Zoom calls with Nicole Kidman. It was insane.
Congratulations. Yeah. We're so excited for all of you.
And success. I believe, correct us if we're wrong here, TJ, but the Falling the movie is out this summer, yes?
I don't believe it has a specific release date yet, but it's moving forward. Things are happening, and I think that's all I'm kind of allowed to say about that.
Yeah. Understood.
Definitely
okay.
saying this is a movie that you got to see on the big screen too.
Yeah.
So it'll get people back in the theaters. It's fantastic.
Hey, the new book is out May 30th. It's called Drowning. We would also recommend you read Falling. Not at the same time. That might be too much for you. It would be too much for me. But TJ, thank you for joining us again. It was great to have you on the show 2 summers ago with your first book, and we appreciate you coming back and talking to us about your second. We'll hold you to coming back to talk about your third when that happens.
And let's thank Corinne for organizing all of this with
PR person up here, Corinne.
A good friend of ours too.
Yeah. TJ, best of luck. Have a good summer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You too. And hopefully one of these days we'll be able to do this in person in Canada, because the response from Canadian readers has been incredible, and I would love to be there in person with you.
Perfect. We'd love to have you.
Thanks, TJ.